Excel videos. Learn English easily by stories. Clever Girl, Chinese folk story. Once upon a time, there lived in China an old man named Sheng. His wife had died many years ago, leaving behind three sons named Qin, Jin, and Sun. His two elder sons, Qin and Jin, were now robust young men who were helping their father in his business, and Sheng thought it was time they got married. So he began looking for suitable brides for them. Eventually, his choice fell on two pretty girls from a nearby village. The girls, whose names were Li Ming and Li Wei, hailed from good families, and what is more, they were close friends too. So all were happy with the arrangement. The weddings were duly performed. However, trouble started once the two brides came over to start life in their new home. Having always lived amid their parents, sisters, and cousins, they found it difficult to adjust to this all-male household. With no mother-in-law or sister-in-law for company, they felt bored when their husbands and all the other family members were out of the house the whole day. They found solace in visiting their parental houses. They had to approach their father-in-law, the head of the household, for getting permission to visit their native village. In the beginning, the old man readily gave permission. But gradually, the frequency of the visits increased until the girls were spending more time at their parents' places than in their marital home. Finally, Sheng decided to put his foot down. The next time his daughters-in-law asked him for permission to visit their village, he answered, "All right, you may go, but this time there is a condition. You have to bring me 2 items when you return." If you are unable to get these, then you need not return at all. "What are the items, father?" asked Li Ming. "Well," said Sheng, "you must get me fire wrapped in paper, and you, turn into Li Wei, must bring wind wrapped in paper. Unless you promise to bring me these, you are never to ask me to let you go home. And if you go and fail to get these for me, you may stay on with your parents forever." Sheng thought that upon hearing this impossible condition, the girls would drop the idea of the trip. Further, they would also stop pestering him for permission to go home, once and for all. However, the girls were young and thoughtless. So anxious were they to get away that they readily accepted without even pausing to consider the implications of their decision. Quickly they got ready and happily set off on their journey. As they walked, they chatted away gaily about what they should do in their native village. When they reached their village, they were happily reunited with their parents and younger siblings who knew nothing about the condition attached to this visit, and the girls too conveniently forgot about it. The next morning, Li Ming and Li Wei decided to visit a common friend who lived a couple of miles away. On the way, tired by the long walk, they stopped to rest in a great greasy meadow. Until now, they had not given a thought of how they were going to fulfill their father-in-law's condition for returning home. But now, as they sat and talked, they recollected and began to discuss how they could do it. However, no solutions came to their mind, and they were so distressed at the thought of being parted from their husbands forever that they began to cry. As they sat thus weeping bitterly, suddenly someone asked, "What is the matter? Why are you crying?" They looked up to see a girl younger than them, looking at them sympathetically. At first, the girls did not want to confide in a stranger, and so they told her that she could not possibly help them. However, when she persisted in her queries, they told her all about the impossible condition laid by their father-in-law. The girl, whose name was Lin Yao, laughed and asked, "Is that all? Why, it is no problem at all. Just come home with me and I'll give you the gifts your father-in-law has asked for." Filled with fresh hope, the girls got up and accompanied Lin Yao to her house. Bidding them to sit down, she brought a sheaf of paper. As they were wondering what she was going to do with it, she sat down and worked on it until moments later a paper lantern emerged out of her deft hands. She handed this to Li Ming, saying, "Here is fire wrapped in paper." Li Ming understood. When lighted, it would be a fire, and its paper surface would encompass the blaze, so that it would truly be fire wrapped in paper. With the remaining paper, Lin Yao swiftly and adroitly made a fan, which she handed to Li Wei, saying, "This is wind wrapped in paper." Li Wei also understood what she meant. When the paper fan was flapped, wind would issue from it, and thus it was wind wrapped in paper. Both marveled at the wisdom of this chit of a girl. Thanking her fervently for coming to their rescue, they took the two gifts and departed for their homes. The same afternoon, they returned to their father-in-law's house with the gifts. When Shang saw them, he angrily shouted, "How dare you come back without bringing the things I asked you to?" For he was so sure that they would be unable to fulfill this condition. However, much to his surprise, Li Ming politely answered, "But we have brought them, father. Here is fire wrapped in paper." And she gave him the paper lantern. "And here is wind wrapped in paper, father," added Li Wei, handing him the paper fan. Greatly astonished, Shen inquired, "How did you suddenly become so clever? Did someone help you?" The girls confessed the whole story and narrated how Lin Yao had come to their aid. Sheng listened thoughtfully and at the end said, "I would like to meet the girl. Can you take me to her house?" The girls readily did so. Sheng met Lin Yao and after talking to her, realized that she was really wise far beyond her years. He now requested her father for a hand for his youngest son. Lin Yao's father readily agreed. Thus, in due course, the wedding was conducted and Lin Yao entered the house as the youngest daughter-in-law. Sheng told the family, "Until now this house had no mother, but Lin Yao has proved herself to be a girl of extraordinary wisdom. She has entered the family. She shall hereafter be the head of the household." All readily agreed. Lin Yao soon endeared herself to everyone with her gentleness and maturity. She ruled the household wisely and well. In due course, children were born to her, and the years that followed ushered in much happiness and prosperity into the household. Moral of the story: practical thinking solves many problems. Please subscribe, share, like, and comment. Thanks for watching.